Bonjour, Guten Tag, or however you say hello in your language. And guess what, guys? I was once again tasked with another build for the Mineral Club. This time, it will be something a little different. This time, I have been tasked with making the new spawn hub for the DragonFire server. Now this is a really big project, so I'm actually going to be splitting it up into several different episodes, and in each episode I'm going to cover some tips and tricks that I have for you guys to create your own Minecraft world. For this build specifically, it is a Viking-inspired village. Now please note that I am definitely not the most proficient at tools like World Edit, so big thank you to Ersh Gem, who was able to work all the commands and get the, well, you'll see what I mean, like different sections of the spawn map working the way they should and make them look spectacular with World Edit. Now in this specific episode, I'm just going to cover things like terraforming and how to shape the land around you. In the next episode, I'm going to cover the making of the village and some other various details such as planning and what goes where, and you'll see what I mean. Also, there will be some bonus content at the end, so be sure to watch all the way through so you don't miss out on that. Alright, so just before we get into it, we just hit 10 subscribers here at DichotomousDuo. Now, unfortunately, Flubbikin's not here to celebrate. He's out discovering why there are some cheeseless quesadillas out in our world. But he will be back soon, and when he does, we will figure out what we should do to celebrate 10 subscribers. We want to know what you guys want us to do to celebrate 10 subscribers. So leave your comments in the section below, and we will choose one from there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so Ersh Gem teleported me to the area where the new spawn location will be, and I decided to take a couple moments and try to figure out what I was going to do with this space, especially since it was completely flat. There was nothing there, so I just go ahead and decide to try to shape the land just a tiny bit, not too much, because I had planned to put some mountains over in the corner there, and other features such as that. Ersh Gem was able to fill in the excess area with World Edit, and this saved both of us a whole lot of time. And I, in the meantime, tried to figure out what I was going to do in terms of the mountain. How would I want it shaped? Things like that. So I decided to attempt World Edit. It did not go that well, so we ended up using sand to try to shape the mountain, and this was actually a really great idea. Alright, so this is a few minutes later. We're just using World Edit to kind of shape out the mountain and letting the sand do its work. We tried to make it fit in with the landscape, so we tried to use those type of curves that you'd see in a typical mountain and the peaks, as you can see here. Ersh Gem was then able to use a command and turn it all into stone. Now this unfortunately did lag my computer quite a bit, so it might be harder to see in this picture. And then she went through and just used the smoothing tool in World Edit and just smoothed it all out to make it look nice and pretty. Alright, so this is after all of the smoothing has taken place, and you can see here I'm trying to blend the two biomes in together by putting some stone and some grass blocks and some coarse dirt and things like that into the base of the mountain to try to make them blend in a little bit better from plains to mountain, so it's not quite such an abrupt transition. You can see I'm spanning the entire base of the mountain, and this helps just make the two biomes really come together and make it look really nice and pretty. Now, while I'm doing that, Ersh Gem over here came and completely removed that mountain that you can see right there. in place of this mountain, we decided to create our own custom mountainous terrain. Alright, so you can see here that we've already gone ahead and mapped out where the mountain range is going to go. Now, you want to try to do something like this, at least plan out your kind of basic idea when building, because this helps you just try to stick with that theme, and just it makes it look a little bit more planned and cleaner. We did the same type of thing that we did with the mountain over there with this mountain range, and I think it turned out pretty well. It is a little bit smaller, but when on the ground you cannot tell how small it is. A little while later, I decided to come back and do a little bit of terraforming to the edges to try to make the two biomes blend in a little bit better and make it not just look like a world edit flat plane. You can see I'm trying to take into account the two different biomes that I'm trying to blend together and using the appropriate blocks. Now, terraforming does just take time and practice, so I encourage you to do this in your own creative world and work out what strategies work best for you when doing something like this. Alright, so then we came to the other side of the area where I had to try to smooth out the flat plains into a more of a gradual slope. Fortunately, Locomondragon and Ersh Gem came and helped me out with this terraforming process, and it made it so much quicker, so thank you guys so much for that. You can see here we're just doing a little bit of biome blending with some leaves and some flowers and bone meal to try to make the two look like they were actually supposed to be there from the beginning. After we did that, we came back over and I started planning out the pathways. Now, there's not much point in me showing this because I've already done a path tutorial, and if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend you check it out. I did the same type of path there that I'm doing here. And over there in the corner, you can kind of see some glimpses of past or future dragons that the Mineral Club may or have been using in their dragon series. So I just basically mapped out the paths in preparation for the next episode where we will be town planning. Alright, so a little while later I decided to go through and add like a forest section to this hub build. Now please ignore the rather crimson colored trees. That's not actually what it looks like in the build. It actually looks something like this. But I've been having block identification issues with the replay mod, so these trees are temporarily pink for this clip. So you can see I'm just doing a little bit of biome blending into what I think is more of a taiga forest into a more of a plains Viking-inspired area with the giant woodland trees and the lush foliage that you'd find in such an area. I decided to also try to build in a little ruin with a waystone in case the Mineral Club wanted to use that as a mode of transportation. On the ground, I am using a mix of podzol and spruce slabs in order to make the taiga biome feel and give a little bit of texture into the ground. And as I've said many times, variation and texture are very important. So here we have the beginnings of this biome. That build took us an awfully long time. It took us many hours to complete, but I'm quite happy with the results. And as I promised, there's some bonus content, so let's take a quick peek at that. But before we do, be sure to leave your support. It is greatly appreciated. Now let's get into that bonus content. So here we have a sneak peek of some of the dragon nests that the Mineral Club uses for their DragonFire series. Now I was tasked with building another one, and this one was inspired from a cave design, so I decided to try to make like a mini cave replica in this floating island area. So here you can see me starting to detail out the inside of the cave to try to make it look as cave-like as possible. Now I am in 1.12.2, so there aren't that many block and stairs slab and stair variants in order to make this look as intricate as possible, so I had to settle with cobblestone. So for this cave, she really wanted a bunch of ores inside of it, so I then go through and just add a bunch of ores throughout the cave and add a block for where the egg would go in this area. I decided to add a tiny little nest, and you can't see the egg here because of the identification issues that I've been having with the replay mod, but there you go. Alright, so there was that bonus content. I hope you guys enjoyed. As stated previously, don't forget to leave your support. It is greatly appreciated. And let us know what we should do for 10 subscribers. We're really excited about it. And anyway, we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye!